What moment in an argument made you realize, this person is an idiot and there is no winning scenario? One of my many stories from working in a discount shoe store. Woman with 3 boys under the age of 12 come in. Woman goes up to the counter. Woman, I need to exchange these shoes in for a different size. Me, okay, let me get that started for you. Normally we can exchange shoes in for the same model just in a size up or down. It's pretty common for parents to buy shoes underestimating how much their kids have grown and come in for a bigger size. Anyway, I opened the box. The shoes are completely trashed. Toe blown out, the sole is peeling off, and they smell to high heaven. Me, ma'am, I'm sorry, but I can't make an exchange for these shoes. Woman, well, why not? Me, I wouldn't be able to resell them, but I think we still have this style if you wanted to purchase a new pair. Woman, why can't I just exchange these shoes for a bigger size? Insert store name here, has always let me exchange shoes when my kid grows out of them. Me, ma'am, I'm sorry that someone has told you we do that, but that's not a policy we have. I can return or exchange shoes that are in good enough condition to be resold, but I can't resell these. Woman, other stores have let me exchange them. Me, which store have you done this with? Woman, can I speak to your manager? And that's when I knew, there we no winning with this bitch. After asking them to go home because they were quite clearly sick with a cold, being told, don't be stupid, there's no such thing as colds, it's just allergies to the cold weather. He had an aversion to Stephen King. Thought Stephen King only wrote gory trash with no redeeming value. That everyone who read Stephen King had mental issues. And his favorite movie was The Shawshank Redemption. Even after I showed the credits both on IMDb and Wikipedia, he refused to believe that degenerate Stephen King was in any way, shape or form involved with his dearly beloved film. Back when I was 10 or something, my older sister yelled at me for swearing. I was not swearing, I was just yelling really loud. Probably shouldn't have been, but whatever. After I point this out, she continues to tell me that yelling and swearing are the same thing, and in order to prove it she whispered, "Fuck. I wish we weren't related." A friend of mine said in an argument that only mentally weak people suffer from mental health problems. We had a new assistant at work who was not fitting in with the team. I sat her down and talked to her about expectations and reviewed the responsibilities of the position several times. In one last effort to help her, I thought I'd see which parts of the job she liked. I asked her, "What skill do you think is your strongest skill?" and she said, "Delegating." When a CEX manager insisted to me it was impossible for a laptop CPU to hit over 100°C because that would melt gold. His tech expert buddy backing him up the whole time. When she kept trying to change the subject, every time she realized she was wrong. I stayed with verifiable facts. She went all over the map, bringing up shit I did like 5 years ago. "You can't turn right at this red light. The sign says so right there." "Well, you burnt that Kraft dinner that one time. You didn't read those instructions, did you? Who the hell burns Kraft dinner? You can't turn right at this red light. The sign says so right there." When anytime you try to respond, they just cut you off and continue their rant. When he countered my fact-based argument with, "That's just your opinion." "No, dude, it's not. I just listed the responsibilities on your job description." An old roommate of mine was trying to say we were blackmailing her when we were asking her to take out her trash, etc. She said, "Watch the Lizzie McGuire movie, there's blackmail in there and it's obvious that's what you're doing to me." I believe it goes without saying that she never cleaned up after herself, nor did she understand that movie. Someone who is dating my roommate considers herself to be environmentally conscious. She claimed that napkins were bad for the environment and they increase one's carbon footprint. She ranted about it to me in my own home, even though I don't even buy napkins. Maybe a week or so later, she noticed I use a reusable coffee filter and berated me for not using disposable paper filters. I told her that using a reusable filter cuts down on the amount of waste that we produce when brewing coffee, so, not only do I not contribute to filling up landfills with paper filters, but I also save money from not buying them in the first place and just cleaning the plastic one. She told me that since paper filters are biodegradable, there is no reason for me to refrain from using them. But napkins are made of paper. Asterisk 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 napkins are made of paper asterisk asterisk asterisk. She literally just wanted to stand on a soapbox and hear herself talk. She derives pleasure from telling others that they are wrong, regardless of whether or not they are actually wrong. There is no winning an argument with her. Ended up being a win-win situation. After a week of constant arguing and telling my now ex-boyfriend and telling him in no uncertain terms that we are over, he came to me one morning and said, "Well, if you don't want to work on this, I don't think we should be together anymore." I just agreed. This friend of mine was always late when we wanted to hang out. Sometimes she even canceled last minute, 10 minutes before the time we were supposed to meet. I once made a joke saying we all knew she was the worst when having to meet her because she was so unorganized and canceled so many events. A few days before she was leaving for college we were meant to meet, so I arrived late knowing she was going to be anyway, waited for her for about an hour or so, but it was the last day I could meet with her so I didn't mind that much and I asked a friend to wait with me. I received a message 1.5 hours later saying, "I'm not coming and don't even bother me asking why, I don't have to justify when I arrive later." That day I realized she wasn't worth it, because yes, I deserve an explanation when waiting you for almost 2 hours. When I was arguing with someone about why milk doesn't go in first when making a cup of tea, a very English debate, and his argument was, when you add boiling water to cold milk, you're warming it up, but when you add cold milk to boiling water, you're cooling it down, and I don't want cold tea. I tried to explain how the end temperature will be exactly the same regardless, but he was already celebrating his self-awarded victory. Okay, I admit that everything you've said is right, but you're still wrong. Discussing housing policy. A discussion with someone about the process of getting a license. Obviously they didn't have one, and didn't believe that you had to do a 5-hour driving class to get one. The moment came when they tried the whole, "you can't always believe stuff from the internet," and were just like A, you jump on pretty much any conspiracy theory you find on the internet, and B, we're on the fucking DMV's website. They seriously still didn't believe it, and tried to go the whole, "you gotta use Google to win arguments" route. Edit for clarification, I'm from New York and am very aware that laws are different in other states, and that they have changed over the years. The thing is, we were talking about the laws in the current year, and he refused to believe the DMV website, just because it was a website. Also, I'm not saying that you don't need driving practice, you need 50 hours, in NY. My cousins are flat earthers. When lack of evidence is just proof of a conspiracy, it's best to just disengage. You can't break into that prison, they have to break out. You shouldn't tip because waiters are too dumb and uneducated to know what to do with all that money. Every time on Reddit you give an opinion and everyone tells you you're wrong. And I don't mean, here are some facts that show your opinion to be a stupid one, but when you say you liked a film. A guy said to me, "Anecdotal evidence is all I need because it describes my truth, and my truth is reality." An amp, #X200B. Bruh. The concept of free will is an illusion that the Jews that run the internet and the world have created. How do you know? That sounds a bit fishy, man. I read about it online. I have found the truth. Can you send me those links? No, you have to find the truth yourself. It also did not help to point out that the Jews that apparently ran the internet must have known their secret was out on their internet. Anytime someone tells me to prove something doesn't exist, I was asked if I could prove that more people die of cancer than fat shaming. Threw my hands up and walked away. That second-hand smoke doesn't affect me. This whole thread brings to mind a quote I've always liked. Arguing with stupid people is like playing chess with a pigeon. Eventually the bird with just shit on the board, knock over all the pieces, and strut around like it's won. Quote. People who say stuff like, "Okay, that's your opinion, but I have my own," when discussing about objective facts, like science issues, meaning of words. Edit. A lot of people seem confused with my wording. I'm adding a couple of examples of what I mean. Science, water boils at 70 degrees Celsius. That's my opinion. Words. In my opinion, the Spanish word hola means dog, so basically, facts which are either true or false and not open to opinions. Edit 2 to 3. Spelling. When he told me that climate change was because of magnetic north, moving up to 20 miles per day. Of course, when the tilt of the planet changes, you're going to get more sun and more heat. But people want to believe it's my *car*. Fucking hell. Oh, this guy was good for a twofer, as well. I don't try to argue politics. I present his party of choices, values. People can choose to agree with me or be wrong, but I won't argue with them. This after listening to him badger someone for nearly an hour straight. They tried to say, "You're a freshman," was correct grammar rather than, "You're a freshman." Keep in mind, they are majoring in language and they're a senior. When I was told he was voting for Brexit because the EU invaded the Falklands. Do you even know where the prostate is? Yeah, it's in your balls. Edit. My most upvoted comment ever is about the prostate. I love this app. When she said, "I don't have to be rational," when discussing how and why laws are made. In class we were discussing what would happen if his sun disappeared and this one girl said, "We would all fly of the earth." I told her the earth has its own gravitational pull and she just said, "No it doesn't." So I said, "Do you know what gravity is?" She says, "Yes." I say, "It's the force that pulls you to the ground, right?" She says, "Yes." So I point out the window to the sun and say, "If the sun is up there, then I point to the ground, how does it pull us down?" She says, "I don't know, but it just is." Stop trying to make me feel dumb. I saw this in a YouTube video once about what would happen if the sun disappeared. I just walked away. When they were claiming all the facts I presented about the Earth being round and older than 10,000 years was fake. A month ago I honestly believed people were just taking the piss when talking about flat earthers, but now I'm scared for our planet's future. When my SIL told me that liberals in power, last administration, were using cell towers to burn the soles of the feet of registered Republican voters. Like cell towers were some sort of sci-fi weaponry that could tap into the voting database and then laser target individuals. When I told her this was science fiction, she insisted it had happened to her. Same SIL tried to convince me that during his first term in office, Obama had visited a hospital where a series of late-term abortions had failed in that the babies were born alive. She said that doctors had put the babies into a supply closet to wait for them to die, and that Obama had stood guard at the door. Just, what do you say to that? Sometimes the idiocy is so strong, that you just have to not bother making an effort, as an act of self-preservation. That whole, "Please provide proof of every point you've made using sources I approve of" thing when they've shown you made up shit from nonsense sources, and then add the "I'll wait." Yeah, do your own homework and you're right, you will wait forever. The airlock is that way. When my ex-girlfriend would get drunk and bring up something I had no idea was an issue, me not being emotional enough, spending too much time playing video games, etc., I quickly realized she didn't want to actually discuss or hear what I had to say, she just wanted to freak out and tell me how bad of a person I was. An uncle of mine stating that even though I'm probably an okay gay, that he wouldn't trust his children around me for the same reason he wouldn't trust his kids hanging out with black people because they would probably start stealing. He's a toothless moron who stopped going to school in the 4th grade. Such a huge surprise. A coworker went on a rant about how all teachers are lazy and only work from 8 to 3 while taking loads of holiday time while doing minimal work. I come from a family of teachers, so I could see the time put in at home, the lost weekends, the days of doing work till 7 p.m., the last 2 weeks of every summer holiday spent in school prepping the classroom for the next year, buying materials out of their own pocket because the school budget wouldn't cover it. My coworker's response are, "Well, I'm a parent so I know more about it than you do." I nearly flipped my fucking lid.